Yo, Joe Rye is in the building. One of the people who I trust the most. Um, we actually used to do a weekly show. We don't do that show anymore, but this is somebody who, whenever I want to talk nitty gritty Cowboys draft, during the draft, we're gonna get it going, man. You guys know when it comes to draft coverage, who's my go-to? It's pretty much Voss and Joe. And Joe, man, how are you doing? Welcome back to the channel.
Yo, bro, thanks for having me on, man. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long season, and like you said, it's when we get together, it's magic, baby.
It's Magic Joe. And first of all, how are you feeling about let's say the last let's go to the last four games, Joe. Let's go Eagles, let's go Titans, let's go Jags. And who do we play after that, Joe? Just let's a recap. Who do we play after the Jags?
You
After
got,
that
you got
ugly loss.
so you got Texans, you got
Yeah, Texans,
Jaguars,
Jaguars,
Colts.
Colts. Okay, and Colts. Joe, just we haven't talked in a while. Just give me a all in all recap, and then we'll talk some things moving forward. Postseason, we'll talk this week. But just how do you feel about this team? What you've seen the last four games?
Yeah, man, I've said this on my channel. The last four games is what we're going to take into the playoffs. You know what I mean? People out here talking about things we got to fix, top five shit to fix this and that. There's no fixing. This is this is who we are. You know what I mean? You might be able to mask a couple of some of the issues that the team has right now, but this late in the season, you can't really fix anything. I mean, that's going to be in the off season. So right now, you know, you've got a good mixture of everything, bro. Like it's really you've got highs and lows, you've got takeaways, you got giveaways, and that's who we are. You know what I mean? Penalties. So that's where we're at right now, Foots. That's this is the team we're going to take in the playoffs. So the question then becomes th- that the team that we are, who do we match up best against in the playoffs? You know what I mean?
The real, the raw, the uncut. Joe's not going to give you flowers. That's why me and Joe are so close in how we cover this team. He's not just going to give you flowers, cookies, and donuts. He's really going to tell you the truth. I agree, Joe. Now, I've been on record on my Twitter and then on social platforms that I've said that Dak Prescott is playing his best football. However, the turnovers, for whatever reason, they keep happening. And
Yeah.
I think that some of it's fluky, but some of it is Dak taking more chances and playing more free. Joe, is that something that we'll continue to see in the playoffs? And can you win that way in the playoffs?
I think you will continue to see that in the playoffs. You'll see Dak, and I'm not highly critical of Dak. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
these receivers, they got to catch these balls, man. And I
Yeah.
think when you go and you and I, we talk draft. I think the focus is going to be good hands. Give me a receiver who's got good hands. None of this bull crap popping off the chest, not
Yeah.
catching it with the hand body catch. We can't have that. It,
Yeah.
it, it turns the tide in too many games. It's keeping lousy teams close in these games where we should be beating up people. You know what I mean? So I do. I think it'll keep happening. Um, it's just that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Joe, and it's unfortunate because had the picks not been a thing, you'd be really just singing Dak's praises. I think he's getting you into every look. I think the pre-snap stuff that he's doing is outstanding, Joe. He's in control. It's just the fluky interception. Some his fault, some not. Now, Joe, I want to take a step back before we get into any more football talk. Joe, first we want to give our thoughts and prayers to Damar Hamlin. Um,
Yeah.
we're all fans of this sport, diehard fans of this sport. Nobody wants to see that happening, Joe.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything like that, Joe?
I've never seen anything like that in all my years of watching football. That being said, I'm surprised it hasn't happened because this is a
Yeah.
high collision sport. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Higgins, just physical receiver. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
He's
just
gonna try to,
routine.
and a lot of these players do that. They're gonna try to run through you. They want to set the tone. You got Debo's, you got Higgins, you got. CeeDee Lamb is
CD runs
physical.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb does that. So I'm surprised that it hasn't happened before. To be quite honest, you know what I mean? Because you take a hit there in the chest, it will. I think it'll take you out of your rhythm, and I think that's what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I read somewhere that it had to, the hit had to happen with the heartbeat like that
Right
moment. Like it
then,
was like,
yeah,
yeah, it was.
the
So I
freak
think some
machine.
of these people, yeah, jump to the conclusion, oh, footballs are so dangerous. Well, you know what? It could have happened in soccer. It could have,
Oh,
it
yeah,
wasn't a helmet to helmet collision.
yeah,
It wasn't anything like that. And then that being said, you just pray for the guy. It's so crazy because I remember covering Damar Hamlin coming out of Pittsburgh, and I also watching him play at Pittsburgh and then watching him play for Buffalo. He's a very physical guy. And he was a good player, man. 6th round pick, good player. So the prayers, man, I pray that God is with him. Um,
yeah.
and I pray, that I know that God is with him, Joe. And you never want to see anything like that happen. So we couldn't go on with the show
Yeah.
without saying that.
Oh, for
Airborne
sure.
Bullies, thank you for the 49.99 super chat. Um, thank you so much for that, man. And anyway, me and Joe got some time for y'all tonight, so we're gonna talk ball. Now, Joe, going back to the real, here's what I think. I think Kellen is 85% there, but he still has moments where he gets goofy.
Yeah.
Joe, what would you like to see this offense improve on? And then we'll get to the defensive side of the ball.
To me, it's still the red zone.
Yeah.
They've made improvements, but it seems like when Kellen gets into the red zone, it's like he shoots himself in the foot. It's like he doesn't really know where to go from there. And then that's when you start to see the goofy reverses. The toss to Zeke. Those tosses need to go to Pollard. He's got the breakaway speed. Not Zeke doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he kills me, bro. It's like Kellen
Yeah.
is killing me in the red zone.
Yeah, and I'll give him credit because I think that he has figured out CD. This, and
Yeah,
and we're gonna talk about CD Lamb here in a
yeah,
second, Joe, and team building and really like JP said, we're underground draft guys. And I think that I have not moved on from this stance. I think that what Stephen Jones and Will McClay have done is phenomenal. I do. You talk about the production that you've gotten from Deron Bland, and we'll get to all of that and what you got from Sam Williams. Um, and I think that what now needs to happen is we need to see Kellen really marry this talent. Okay. He's drafted these guys, right? And we've drafted these guys, but you really need to marry this talent. And it's taken a while for Kellen to figure out CD Lamb, where it's like, okay, me and Joe have been screaming for 2 years, just get the ball in his hands quick. And I think he's done a good job with CD Lamb, right?
yeah,
And he's figured it out. But it's like, even with Pollard, you can't throw a pitch to Zeke. He's downhill.
yeah.
He's
Exactly.
get
Yeah.
him in the pistol, let him get downhill, off
Hmm.
tackle, cool.
Oh yeah.
If you want to get the ball on the edge, you need to give, either it's quick game or you need to get the ball in Tony Pollard's hands.
Yeah.
Joe, we want to be a great team in the playoffs. The Cowboys, I think, are a great team. How do you play this game on Sunday? What are you looking for? Um, CD Lamb's record is on up for up 7 catches away from the most receptions in a year. What are you looking for, how you want this? And yes, shout out to Cat Mode, Gerald Beasley. Cat Mode's in the building. How do you want this game to be played against the Commanders?
Uh, I don't know if this is true. I mean, we all heard Jerry say that they're going to play, right? So, I mean, if Jerry's saying that, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to play. I haven't heard McCarthy say that he's going to sit anybody, but you know, I definitely want to see the players play because we've seen this before where they sit guys and they just look a little bit rusty in that first game in the playoffs. So I think you got to keep them. It's a hard thing, right? For me, I've already said this. The guys that are a little bit less durable, yeah, maybe pull them at the half. You know what I mean? Like your Tyrons.
Yeah.
your LVEs.
And
I
by
don't
the way,
even.
it's played pretty decent.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So those types of guys, right? And then you definitely got to consider your star players as well. So I don't know, man. I think give me a half at least of your
Mhm.
starters. It's a meaningless game at this point. Like um, the only way it becomes, somewhat important, I guess, is if the Eagles and San Francisco choke it up, right? Isn't that what it
Mhm.
is?
Yeah,
No.
and we have the 4 o'clock slot, so I think we'll know, or are we all playing at the same time?
Yeah, the NFL screwed us. We're playing the Eagle. All the NFC East is playing at the same time.
So I do know that the Giants are going to go out and try to win that game. They are in, but I think that they're going to try to win that game. I think that Dallas. Here's my theory, Joe. I think that Dallas needs to play this game because you have no luxury to rest, and we don't want this whole Tony Romo 13-3
Mm,
situation. Then you get
yeah,
popped by the Giants in the playoffs. No,
yeah,
play football. Um, I do believe that Dak is locked in. Um, I think he's putting on himself to say we got to go out here and we got to lock in. He said something today about this locker room and these guys know what's at stake and how close in the camaraderie that they have.
mhm.
I like what you're saying about Tyron, but the truth of the matter is this, Joe. I want CD Lamb to have an explosion game, and here's why. He's earned it. Everybody, and that's why I said we're going to get to CD Lamb. Everybody under the sun said CD wouldn't look the same without Amari Cooper. Joe, I have news for you. He's looked better. He's looked better. Now it was rough early, drops.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Week one, him and Dak just weren't on the same page, and maybe the Cowboys have finally learned their lesson about not letting Dak play in the preseason. He's not God. He needs to play football
yeah,
like he
exactly.
does.
Yeah,
But that being said, the league made a mistake on CeeDee Lamb and letting him pass. Guys like Jerry Jeudy, all these people who were drafted before him. CeeDee Lamb is the guy. And it bothers me when people say, oh, he's in the slot. He's not a one. You're kidding me. This guy would literally have 1,600 yards if Dak Prescott was there every game.
yeah, yeah. It is. It kind of seems like his season was a tale of two seasons. Like you said, like
Yeah.
the first half, you had the guys that seemed like they were right. Like, oh, he's not a number one. He doesn't look like a
Amari
number one.
Cooper, blah, blah,
You,
blah.
you know what I mean? But then you look at after the bye, and then Dak coming back, it's a night and day, man. He definitely is a number one right now. You know what I mean? He's a guy that can take over a game right now, and to me, that's a hallmark of a number one receiver. You know what I mean? Like he's a
Mhm.
guy that can take over a game, and if you don't stop him, he's going to tear you up. And
Talk about it, Joe.
that's where we're at right now with CD Lamb, and that's a beautiful thing to take into the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I'm all about it. Let's go.
That's and you said something. I saw your Twitter that if there's maybe rumors that Mike McDaniel may be out, then you bring in a guy like Mike McDaniel if Kellen screws this up. I don't think that Kellen gets no more passes from me, Joe.
Oh yeah,
Not in the
yeah,
playoffs.
yeah. No, yeah, I
You have
agree.
enough. You have enough. The only team that can stop this offense, I'll be honest with you, Joe, is Dallas.
Yeah,
You have answers in the run game. I think the Tyler Smith draft pick. I think that we'll see the reason why you drafted Tyler Smith in the playoffs. Because if nothing else, Joe, he has turned into Eric Williams, a mauling offensive lineman that
mhm,
wants to lean on you, right?
yeah. I love the pick, man. I still stand by the pick. I love the Tyler Smith pick, man.
Dude, love it.
Yeah,
Like if we could pull up the takes from people, it was absurd, Joe. Me and you stood on the island and said, "Guys, well let's just let it play out." Tyron goes down, and you don't miss a beat. You don't miss one beat
yeah. He didn't
with
miss a
Tyler
beat.
Smith. That's drafting. That's why I do give Steven Jones and Jerry, because if we let fans run the team, we would have had, I don't know, name a free agent who Eric Flowers. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Eric Flowers. Hey man, wasn't that like a real thing at one point? Like, let's sign this guy for depth. Like, are you kidding me, man? You're terrible.
And so that's why we started our channels, because our channel was based on the draft and development, and it's been so beautiful the way that Dallas has developed. Okay, CeeDee Lamb drafted, has developed. He's a clear one. You see him talking today. He's smiling. He's happy. I'm very happy for him, the young man. I mean, he's a great dude. And he has that feistiness. And I think that if Dallas wants to win in the playoffs, if they want to win deep in the playoffs, they need to feature CeeDee Lamb, because what that does is you have to declare to these defenses, hey, we're gonna put the ball in your hands. You let me know how you're gonna defend CeeDee Lamb, and then now my next subject, Joe, is T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah,
Okay, there have been some inconsistencies in the Cowboys' play. One of the consistent things that we've seen is T.Y. Hilton has shown he can run past you, he can still run routes. Joe, you cut James Washington for good reason. He's done nothing.
yeah,
How do you feel about the emergence of T.Y. Hilton? It's incredible.
yeah. It's a good late season addition. But following his career, he did kind of have the injury bug throughout his career. So that's my only thing about him. So ride the wave
Mm-hmm.
as long as we can, because if he's healthy, it's a legit weapon. You know what I mean? We couldn't wait on Odell. Nobody signed him. He's not going to play till next season, maybe, right? So
Maybe,
you
yeah. I
got
mean,
you
he's
got to
getting
get
older.
the T.Y. Hilton addition. It could be one of the hidden gems here. Could be one of the unsung heroes, and that's what you need in a championship run. You need an unsung hero to really step up and you
Absolutely,
know
Joe. That's a great point.
be productive for you.
What's good, everybody? Me and Joe, just like old times. We're just gonna talk some ball with y'all, getting you guys ready for a true postseason run. It starts this weekend with the Commanders. I'm in DC. Shout out to everybody on the chat. I saw somebody who said, "What's up?" all the way from Fredericksburg, Maryland. David Jenkins, skeptical fan. Samuel, aka Dark Skin Votch Burner Count. That's dope. I like that name. Gerald Beasley, Nickel Do It. We just showing love tonight, guys. Deron Lewis. We don't have any script. King Trill. What's going on? Calvin Jefferson. Cash Out Tyler. What's up, homie? Ajaye Ajubaku Jr. Sorry if I messed that up. Guys, man, the season has come, Joe. And it's
Yeah,
we've been waiting for this moment. But I think that one of the most important things is how you get to this moment, Joe. So we talked about CeeDee Lamb. Um, we talked about T.Y. Hilton. Joe, one of my things is this, right? Do we have we found who we are on offense, or are we still kind of searching? Are
no.
we going to be a true balanced team? Who are we, Joe, offensively?
Offensively, um, you know, you
It's
can light it
tricky,
up.
right, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. That's who we are. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's the your team kind of plays down to lower tier teams, but in the playoffs, you can't do that.
No.
So clean. I mean, they're going to turn the ball over, right?
Mhm.
We got receivers that let the ball ricochet off them, and then that causes a turnover. And some people want to blame it on Dak, those types of things, but it's the receiver, right? So
Yeah.
we may have some of that, some turnovers, but if you can clean it up, I think you have a better chance. But at this point, the identity of this team is that, you know what I mean? We're a little bit sloppy. We're being quite honest. We're sloppy.
That's real. Okay.
Penalties, turn the
That's real.
ball over, red zone inefficiencies. So we'll see where we can go from here. Hopefully, Pollard is going to be healthy. I think that'll be a big thing for us in the playoffs. I think Pollard's going to be, like you said, like CeeDee Lamb. I think Pollard will be that for us in the running game.
Well, him and CD are your two best playmakers.
Oh yeah,
The most juice. And then now you add, if Ty can be your over the top guy, Joe,
yeah,
you're in you're in really good shape. But he
yeah,
had, like, if he can continue to just win one on ones, that's where it starts to be like, I don't know, y'all. You know, if
Yeah,
Gallup's gonna win on slant game, and Gallup hasn't been himself. I don't know if he's fully healthy.
yeah, I think so. I think they
Yeah,
rest
I
him
don't think
back.
he is, Joe.
Yeah, yeah,
And to be honest, quite honest with you, where you're going to be drafting, I think the receiver has to be talked about. If you
yeah,
don't make any moves in free agency, we obviously see how James and we got all off season to talk about that. We obviously see how James Washington panned out or lack thereof.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so, to me, Joe, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I do believe that what you said is true. It's just we want it to be good, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like
mm,
when Dallas is running at you, I don't think there's a team in the nation. I don't think there's a team in football that can defend us. When we're running downhill, we got play action going, we got the deep crosses, we got the overs, we got all that type of stuff. I don't think there's when we dictate what we want to do. It's when we start getting cute, we turn the ball over, we do stuff like that. That is kind of it gets kind of sketchy for me.
yeah,
That being said, Joe, since Dak has come back, Dallas averages the most points in the league.
yeah. They've definitely been averaging a lot of points in the league. You know what I mean? So there's something to be said about that. Um, it's just the slow starts,
Yes.
first half, can't have that in the playoffs. You know what I mean? This
Yes.
can't be you can't front your opponent 10 points right out the gate. You know, three and outs, a sloppy turnover here and there. And that's been something like we said earlier in the show is these last couple games. That's kind of what they've been doing. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like the first half, oh let's turn the ball over here. But then in the
Yeah.
second half they wake up. But if they don't wake up in the second half, you're
It
getting
gets
that
tricky.
L. You're
Yeah.
getting that L big time.
They've adjusted so well, Joe. I think the Titans game really rubbed people the wrong way, let's be honest. And you know what's so crazy about the Titans game, Joe? You covered the spread. It was the ugliest 14-point win. And the Titans have one of those fronts, one of those defenses that you'll see in the playoffs. Whereas if you really watch film, and you'll see that teams just aren't going to let you run the ball. They know that when Dallas is playing downhill, we're dead. So what they're doing is they're playing those 5-man fronts, and they're saying, we'll rather win with Dak beating us than Zeke and Tony.
Yeah, man. What I want to do, bro.
Hmm.
I think it's time to make a change on defensive line. Leon Lett, the cat, the legend. We know about that. I think we need to get like we need to shake that up a little bit on defensive line coach.
Oh yeah,
The,
when we
the,
talk defense, yeah.
yeah, the middle. We gotta fix it. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
We
yeah,
we,
yeah.
we need a Simmons and a Jeffrey. I mean, we need a badass guy in the middle, man. We don't have it. We don't have that.
Joe is well, Joe. Let's go right into it. Let's talk about this defense.
Yeah,
Um, you talk about the Giants. You talk about the Commanders. You talk about the Titans. They all have one thing in common with that interior defensive front. They have a guy who you can't move.
yeah,
Jeffrey Simmons, John Allen, um, Dexter Lawrence. You talking about a guy who has just turned into a monster?
yeah,
Like literally the best defensive tackle in football. Dexter Lawrence is a problem.
yeah. He's good. And Thibodeau is really turning around too. Uh,
Thibodeau at the end.
yeah, he's gonna be something. He's gonna be a problem for our division for
The
a long
division's
time.
getting better, Joe.
Oh yeah,
The division's getting better.
yeah,
Um, Joe, let's talk about this defense, and I
yeah.
guess let's talk D line and work our way back. What do you see? You just said Leon Lett. Is it personnel or is it coaching? What's going on, Joe?
I feel like it's a mixture of the two. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Let's been here for since Garrett, right? So love Cat. I love Leon to death, man. He's a
Right.
legend here. But I think there's an area that you got to change up. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
someone becomes available, go get them. You know what I mean? But um, I think they got to invest in that defensive tackle. And it's very hard for the Cowboys because it seems like every draft year there's another priority above defensive tackle. And Cowboys haven't drafted a defensive tackle first round since Russell Maryland in '91. So that's like 3 decades already. So, um, we talked about Washington. These, these are all early pick guys, first
Right.
rounders, and things like this. So, if the Cowboys want to get to that point, they need to draft somebody there. Like, and you and I talk about defensive tackle is one of the harder positions to to hit on. There's a high bust factor defensive tackle. It's kind of like wide receiver, right? Wide receiver, defensive tackle, those. We talked about Devontae Wyatt last year, draft season, kind of quiet for the Packers, right? Uh,
That's
and then
true.
you got the guy from the Eagles, Jordan Davis, right?
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, you know what I mean. So it is. It's a hard thing to draft, but they got to get better in the middle somehow, whether it's a free agent or draft somebody.
Yeah, and Joe, I can tell that's something that you're passionate about, and I want you to I wanted to let you get that off. I think that's until we could talk to we're blue in the face, we could draft linebackers, but
Yeah,
until you can get somebody who could set the anchor
yeah,
and say, you guys aren't gonna climb next level. We're not gonna let you double team my linebackers. We're not gonna let you pull around.
yeah.
We're not gonna let Jason Kelsey just go next level. You know, it's gonna be war in here. And I think that Jonathan Hankins, I think that if John, so I don't know, you guys let me know the news on Hankins, right? But I think that Jonathan Hankins was playing good ball, Joe, before he got hurt. The problem is he's 10 years, he's been in the league 10 years, which in doggy years, he'd be about to pass away. And I don't want to,
Exactly. Yeah,
but
yeah,
he's
exactly.
older.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
And so I don't want to make that's, I hope that joke, it's not like that because, don't want to be insensitive with what's going on. But the point is, Hankins has been around a long time. You need, we tried it with Bohanna. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think what sucks is that Ridgeway went away and is playing good ball.
yeah, yeah. It's
Joe?
and you got Gallimore. I think behind the scenes, there was rumors. I mean, he was deactivated at one point, right? So, I
Hasn't
think
been his best year.
hasn't been the same after he shredded it, tore up his arm, whatever happened. They didn't tell us what happened. Nobody knows. To
Mhm.
me, I think he tore some shit there. He's got the RoboCop arm. I mean, Osa overhyped like hell, man. Oh, running around the cones in the offseason. He's gonna have 12 sacks. Where are the sacks, bro?
Sophomore slump. Totally.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I do appreciate the Cowboys are throwing picks though, right? But
Mhm.
they gotta we gotta get somebody here, man.
It's time to get the right player, Joe. I
The
get
right
it.
player, the right player. That's right, Foots.
May have to be a second or a first round, but see, that goes against their philosophy.
Right, right. Yeah.
We know the sweet spots. The
Yeah.
Cowboys are going to go tackle. They're going to go linebacker. They'll stay. They're going to go receiver if big if,
Yeah.
but they're going to go corner, tackle, backer. And that's what they've done over the last. We do this, Joe, since 2016. The first round, unless it's Zeke or something, and they're high. That's what they're doing. Running back, DT, center. Biotis developed nicely. All those players, obviously they want to try to fresh, but they're gonna push those guys to the back of the line.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the reality of it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the thing about the defensive tackle position. At one point, does this front office say, you know what, let's go for somebody here. You know what I mean?
I tell you what, Dexter Lawrence sure does have Jalen Smith playing good ball, right?
Yeah,
I
that's true.
mean,
Yeah,
it makes a difference.
it does. It really, really does. I mean, it can make your defense from very good to elite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
elite. Our defense is not elite. I mean, we're pretty damn good defense,
Yeah.
but you're
Yeah.
missing some stuff here. you're
Yeah,
you're missing some
you're gonna
ingredients.
you're
Bro.
gonna have to outscore teams. The defense just isn't. The defense is a hold on defense. It's not what it was when Mike Nolan was here. So let's be clear about that
Oh
and the
no.
whole switch and all that. But
Yeah,
it's a hold on defense. It's a
yeah,
just let's just bend but don't break. They're not gonna maul teams. They're not San Francisco, but I saw some chinks in San Francisco's armor over the weekend. Um, they're beatable.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's dealing with injuries and depth,
Mhm.
this sort of thing. And we're one of those teams. But I think we've handled our injuries a lot better this season. Our depth is a lot better. You know what I mean? But we don't have that mauler up the middle. That man, we got to play this guy. We got to double team this guy. We don't have that guy.
Well, if you would have told me, Joe, now you're talking about injuries and depth. If you would have told everybody, me and everybody in this chat box and yourself, that you lose your quarterback for 5 games and you go 6 games, whatever it was, and you go 12, what were we, 12? We're at 12 wins right now, Joe.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't have believed you. So,
yeah.
and then, well hold on, Joe. Your left tackle,
Which
Leighton Vander Esch for a few games,
I think
Amari
we
Cooper.
I think we knew that was gonna happen,
Well, we
right?
did. That's true. That's true. Me and Joe knew that Tyron Smith wouldn't be there. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, we knew that.
And it really stepped up, bro. And you and I, we held it down with keep him at left.
We
Let
stood our
Tyron
ground.
take, let Tyron take that right tackle spot. And what they do, that's what they did.
Wow. Wow.
You
We
know?
Joe just hire us for a job. Well, the reason why you had, and I guess we could piggyback to this. We got
Yeah,
time, Joe. We could talk our talk. You had to keep Tyler Smith at left tackle because he's shown you no reason not to. Like
yeah,
we can go pick a rep here or there, but like let's be honest, dude. Like in next year, Tyler Smith will be a Pro Bowler. Let's be honest.
yeah, yep,
Like he's had a better start to his career than Tyron Smith, if we're being honest.
yeah. He's had a hell of a start, man. That was a good pick, bro. I love it.
And to be fair, Joe, if there's a coach who I want to give some flowers, what's our offensive line coach's name? Philbin.
Mm.
Like, let's be honest, this staff has developed Terrence Steele into a very nice player. You better sign him now while he's hurt. Um, you know, Terrence Steele is a nice player, Joe. He is.
Terrence too has really turned into a good cornerstone player
Yeah.
for your team. You know what I mean? The coaching too, but you see what he does in the offseason. He's out there with Duke. He's putting in the work. You know what I mean? And that's
He
that's
is.
a big part of improving your game is surrounding yourself around others that want to improve. They want to be winners, right? And I think
Yeah.
Terrence has that mindset, and that goes a long way. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
isn't Lyle Collins we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Fishing every day and all that.
Nah, man.
Yeah, no, and I think that it was so sad to see Terrence go down, but I think the front office will do right by Terrence and as they should.
Oh yeah, yeah. They'll get that done.
All right, guys, super chat, super chat, super chats. Get them up, ask us questions. Thank you again for checking in and locking in with me and Joe. Joe, let's talk about the middle of that defense. Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and the linebackers. How you feeling? Um, I got some thoughts, but I want to get your thoughts. We talked about the D line, and that's fair. Again, on this channel, you're not going to always get flowers. You're going to get the truth. Let's talk about the middle of that defense, Joe.
The interesting thing, Foots, is that at the end of the game, you saw Jabril Cox out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like, why, like, what is it? Like, why is he like getting garbage time? Why isn't he? I mean, he was on an upward trajectory, until he got injured last year, and now it's like, you know, is he's struggling to get snaps. You know what I mean? They're
yeah,
giving him garbage time snap. So, you know what I mean? I think, what they've done in the draft, it's more for next season. I
yeah.
think they're kind of getting by right now with the youth movement. But
Mhm.
there's no doubt that they miss LVE out there. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah.
And I know he's a low hanging fruit for a lot of people. Like, oh, he does this, he doesn't do that. And I mean, he's out here, making tackles. You know what I mean? He's not
Yeah.
perfect by any means, but they miss him right out there right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want LV out there for the playoffs, or it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be
Yeah.
tough. I don't,
Versus Green Bay run game. Doing a lot of counter game, all that type of stuff. It is, Green Bay. Be mad to play San Francisco down the line, and obviously Philly. Joe, I have a mixed bag when it comes to Damone Clark.
yeah,
I
no
like
doubt.
him.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't love him.
Mm.
He had a flash play against Tennessee, but then there's times where I'm like, okay, you're kind of late to the party, and that's okay because he's a rookie. Um, Jabril, I've just come to the conclusion I don't think they think he's physical enough.
Is he? I know. We joke about this a lot in the off season, but there's always the one guy who wants to turn him into a safety. Is that? Could that be a reality?
on
You know?
on this team, no, because I think Dallas is loaded at safety.
Yeah.
Um, and they have so many good players at safety. We've even seen Deron Bland get snaps at safety. I thought it was funny, Joe. That's why I love your Twitter. I saw somebody tweet, "Oh, Byron Jones is coming back to play where?" This dude didn't want to tackle any. Byron Jones was scared of contact.
Dude, yes. Oh my God, it was the worst, bro.
What are we doing? What are we
Yeah,
doing, Joe?
yeah. I'm like, don't even mention it. Like, just shh. Like, I don't want. We're trying to be more physical. We're not trying to bring finesse to the defense. That's a damn last thing we want, right? I'm not
Yeah,
about that.
he ain't no.
Nah.
Mm, no,
No, but
so
I think you're onto something about Jabril, though. I mean, if you look at him, he's a little bit more slender, leaner linebacker. He doesn't have the bulk. You know what I mean, that you would like in some of these pro level linebackers. So I mean, man, that could be part of it too.
yeah, he's light. And
Yeah,
I mean, he also just doesn't play mad. Um, I think there's other backers on the roster who, to be quite honest, in the middle there will probably get more reps than Jabril.
what if we would have
So
drafted Nick Bolton, bro?
you could have.
Got away from us, bro. We loved him, bro. Remember that?
Oh
We were
yeah,
like
we
Nick
love no
Bolton,
ball.
damn, and he's kicking ass over there with KC, man.
Oh, he's a stud.
Yeah.
He's Sean Lee,
I,
knife
I
and
I just
through,
wish that's
means
one thing that
everything.
drives me crazy about the Cowboys draft. Like they're so rigid with their draft. Right? We don't want Asante Samuels. We want Kelvin. We don't want this guy. We don't want Nick Bolton. We want whatever. So
No, they so the one thing that does bother me about this team is when they do lock into the metrics. And
yeah,
I-
man.
and for they've been an A+ drafting team for the last what, Joe, 5 years. I mean, they've done outstanding. However, the misses when they miss is usually on players who are smaller but can play or who don't meet their size standards
Yeah.
but still can play. You passed up on Buda Baker.
I was about to say, damn, dude, we're on the same wavelength, man. I'm telling you.
You really could have drafted Jalen Petrie.
Yeah.
He
I
doesn't
wouldn't have
look
been mad
like
at
it.
that. Yeah,
Oh my
that
God,
was
he's
that would have been a good
dude.
pick.
He had 14 tackles last game.
And he's one of the rare players that comes out of Baylor. Baylor's usually a bust factory, but Petrie and Petrie was the real deal. You know what I mean? Petrie's been one of the rare ones, man. He's pretty good.
Dude, Petrie's a stud, Joe. Oh
Yeah,
my God,
yeah.
dude, you cannot turn on a like I like Derek Stingley. I love Stingley. Dude, Petrie's better. Like he's outstanding, Joe. Coverage, run fit,
Yeah,
you name it. Like, right?
yeah, yeah. It's
He may be better than your boy from Notre Dame. I hate to say it, and
I
he's
don't know
playing good in Baltimore.
about that now.
Now, dude, I say this, and I know you're in Houston. You don't want to give the Houston fans, dude. When Jalen Petrie played Dallas, he literally was in on every play.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where maybe they told him they were going to draft him, and he was playing like, hey, "Yeah, I'm going to get you guys." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
happens.
No, it
Those
does.
draft stories always come out later, man. Like they said they were going to draft me, they didn't draft me. That's why I whoop their ass every time I play them. You know?
Jalen Ramsey, yeah. Um, Joe, yeah, Jabril Cox at safety. I just don't know if they, I don't know. I think they like Damon Clark better. To this point, Damon Clark has developed nicely. I still think that he has a ways to go.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. Yeah.
he had a second round grade on him before the situation, and he's back. And I think that his ceiling's higher than players like Jalen Smith and the whole nine. So, what your hope is that he just continues to keep developing.
Yeah.
That's your hope, Joe, and I think that he will. and I think that Dallas has a good situation on their hands. LVE, what are you hearing, Joe, about the injury? Will he be ready for the playoffs? Is he playing this weekend? I doubt it, but
Mhm.
you know, what's the
Yeah.
deal with LVE, Joe?
Yeah, it's going to be a stash into the playoffs, and that's going to be, I think, a game time type of deal. So they're working him on the sides, you know what I mean? So he's making progress. So I think you just bubble wrap him into the playoffs. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
go from there. So that's
yeah,
where they're at. I'm with you on Damone Clark as well, Foots. I think obviously he had the back surgery, the fusion surgery, and then got a really late start to the season. So I think the
hmm
ceiling's high, like you said. I think he's definitely just a guy that we're going to see more from him next year.
yeah. And again, I don't think this defense is going to do any shutting people out in the playoffs. Your
Right.
offense has to carry the load, and this defense has to be opportunistic. And when it's time for Micah to be Micah, he needs to turn up. I think he's been playing good ball. Sacks come in spurts, so he hasn't gotten home as much, but
Mhm.
he's also getting a lot of attention. So other guys have to step up. And I think that one thing that I have been impressed with, I do like the way that Dante Fowler has played, Joe. I do like the way that Sam Williams, who we also drafted this year, has played. When
Mhm.
Micah's getting chipped, doubled, and he's getting protection slid to him,
Yeah.
these guys need to step up, and I think that they have. Um, and it'll be interesting to see in the playoffs because the truth of the matter is none of these offensive lines are healthy, fully healthy,
Oh yeah.
and you know, you got to pick your spots and take advantage because you're going to need a turnover. You're going to need a big play. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is still playing good ball. You may even re-sign DeMarcus Lawrence. He's playing that well. I don't think that you have a defensive end who plays the run like DeMarcus Lawrence. So I think that
Yeah.
all those types of things are big, Joe.
Yeah.
Um, so it'll be interesting. But if you can get LVE back and if you can continue to get decent play from uh, Damone Clark, I think that you'll be fine. You may not be the doomsday defense, but your defense will be good enough. All right, Joe, the back end. I want to start off with Deron Bland and just want to say again, this front office has killed it. Deron Bland was kind of just like, oh, hey, he's cool. Oh, he made the team. Oh, wow. Oh, well. To now it's like, dog, you need him.
Yeah, he's becoming he's going to be integral part of this defense moving forward. It's just a shame that they got him in there kind of late due to injury with Jordan. So I had an outstanding preseason. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think they would have just let him play. He probably would have had damn 8 interceptions by now or so, man.
yeah,
He's got like 5 right now. You
yeah.
know, so I mean, he's right there with Sauce Gardner's. He's up there with Stingley. I mean, he's got good numbers for starting late in the season. So outstanding for every kind of early miss that the Cowboys have here and there. We
Yeah.
talk about like Kelvin and things like that. You get the gym right. You get the Deron Bland. And there's no doubt about the talent, man. He's there. He's scrappy. You know what I mean? I love that. So a great piece of the puzzle. And the Sean Wright, I think they finally gave him
Hey,
a shot.
we got to talk about it.
Yeah, I think Deshaun. I think he just needed more starter reps.
More reps.
I mean, yeah, he's not perfect right now, but I mean, he's playing better than Kelvin. Kelvin just cannot play, bro.
Yeah, let's circle back to. We're not gonna just. I don't want to just skip over like a rock on Kelvin Joseph. Let's really talk about Kelvin Joseph. Joe, you know, one thing that me and you have done for a long time is cover the draft. And we had a
Mm.
feel about Kelvin Joseph and we tried to give it a chance. And the truth is something's just off there, Joe. I don't know what it is. Like we saw him have great reps at Kentucky,
Mm.
but it's just I don't know. He just can't put it all together.
Can't put it all together, and you really don't know if there's something behind the scenes. Is he not putting in the time? I mean, we just don't know, right? And is there still an investigation going on that we don't know about, and he's
Yeah.
distracted? I mean, we just don't know. He's got too much baggage, bro.
Yeah.
We don't know.
It's too much and oh by the way, the play on the field isn't good. So it's like no thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, it's like it seems like we're always starting within the 10-yard line. There's a penalty. Oh, Calvin Joseph. that boneheaded play. Like, let the guy catch the ball, man. Like, you're interfering. Oh my god, it kills me, bro. I'm not like
Like,
I'm almost like holding my breath whenever we're on special teams. I'm like, is it Hendershot or Kelvin this time? Which one of them is it?
well, I think the scary thing is like, Kelvin, are you even paying attention in meetings? What are you doing?
Right, exactly, man. Like, for real.
And then
Hmm.
all Nashawn Wright does is come in and looks formidable. Like that's what you need from your number two corner. You're gonna have help over the top, homie. You know what I mean? We'll get you.
Yeah,
We'll get you where you need to go. Can you just be where you're supposed to be?
yeah.
You know, I hate to say that a player lost a game, right? But I went back and I watched the Jacksonville game, Joe. I said, let me go back and just watch some of
Oh
these
man,
games.
yeah, I know.
And Joe, it was bad. Like I'm
No,
just like, dog, Kelvin, you
mm,
can't get beat on a double move.
no.
So first of all, the play design was like it's a double move, it's play action, and there's if he catches in front of you, you rally, you tackle, you live to play another down. But you're getting beat on a stutter and go when your D line has pressure. There's
Yeah,
no need for you to try to jump that ball. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was just bad. And then you come out 3 plays later. I mean, excuse me, a couple series later, you get beaten out, and then you're out the game. I just
Yeah, because then you're like, okay, can he not recover? They say you got to put every play behind you, or
yeah.
does he just stay focused in on the negative play and he can't get it out of his head? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, like what's really going on? And
Yeah,
then again, now Deron Bland has gotten beat. The difference is he puts it behind him and then he
he
makes a
puts it
play.
behind him. Yeah, puts it behind
Yeah,
him. Makes a
corners
play.
get beat. I remember Trevon Diggs rookie year, he got beat like a drum.
Oh yeah,
It's okay. Yeah, he wasn't. Diggs did one of Diggs is one of the things that I do love about Trevon Diggs. He got beat on that double move versus AJ Brown, and then it was like the second half there just wasn't. They didn't even target him.
hmm.
And like I'm okay with my corners playing like that. I
Yeah,
really, really am because
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't. I think corner is such a hard position that if you don't take any chances or if you don't have any plays where you're getting beat or you don't have any grit in you or all those types of things, then I
yeah,
don't think you're playing corner the right way. If you're just getting beat all the time, you're not a corner dog. You're a dummy out there.
yeah.
Um, and so I think that like with Deron Bland, I'm okay with him getting beat. Like, hey, Devontae Smith got you. Devontae Smith is a really good receiver. He's a
Yeah.
Heisman winner. Like, I get it. But then you come back and then you get a pick on Quez Watkins. That's why Deron Bland is playing. I truthfully believe that Deron Bland is your starter on the edge in the future, Joe.
That's where I'm hoping this thing goes. You know what I mean? And that
Yeah,
might help them in the draft. If another outside corner is not there, you got a guy there. And then you obviously you can get a slot guy later in the draft. You know?
yeah. You can get those guys later in
Yeah,
the draft, and you just make Nashawn Wright your swing guy. I do think that there is a um what's the word? I do think there's a role for Nashawn Wright on this team because he's coming and he's shown it at least he's not going to be a turnstile out there. And
yeah,
he's shown that he can use his length, the big interception, Tennessee, and he's had some pass breakups. And if nothing else, Joe, he's in position. Like
yeah,
he's where he's supposed to be.
yeah,
That's half the battle.
yeah, yeah. It is. Yeah,
Okay, Joe. Now that we got past Calvin Joseph, safety play has been good for me, Joe. Jaron Curse has been worth the money that you gave him.
yeah.
I think that Malik Hooker's been really well. Joe, how do you feel about safety play?
Safety, what used to be one of our biggest weaknesses, and within 2 years, has turned into one of our better squads. I mean, you got Donovan Wilson, who I think is being used very well. On blitzes, plays a run, physical, staying healthy, man. His
Yeah.
deal was most of his career, durability. But this year, man, knock on wood, they've been pretty damn durable this year. Now, shout out to him, bro. Like,
Dono's a
um,
Pro Bowler.
he's playing really good ball, man.
Yeah.
I love the way Dom's playing right now for us.
Donovan Wilson's playing great ball. He throws his body around. He's really one of the heart and souls of this team. You wouldn't be where you are without him. All right, April Showers. KJ has never been coached really LSU or Kentucky. Then drafted and had to learn NFL system. I think it's a learning disadvantage. So April, I want to push back a little bit. Now I do remember covering Kelvin Joseph. And April, you know I love you, so don't take this the wrong way. I do. The problem with Kelvin Joseph is the off the field stuff. I think it leaks into his play. We have to now call that spade a spade. Me and Joe covered him. He got
Mm.
kicked out of LSU. Coaches at Kentucky kind of said the same thing, like, hey, great player, but if he doesn't get it together off the field, it's going to affect the on the field. Coaches had concerns. Like when your coaches at the team that's putting you in the draft have some issues with you, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he's been everything that you drafted. It's
Yeah.
like when they do these scouting reports, these guys are really good at what they do. Dane Brugler is going to talk to the gym teacher. He's really good at what he does. Dane
Yeah.
Brugler is.
Oh
So
yeah.
when they say, hey, he's lazy, hey, he wants to be a rapper, he's not going to really give his all. He's talented and he can do it, but he looks the part, but you kind of got to believe him, unfortunately. And we've been doing this long enough, and, um, I think a lot of people, if we're gonna be honest, he got drafted off of one game. He played good against Devonta Smith at Alabama, had a pass breakup, had the interception, and was like, "Oh, let's anoint Kelvin Joseph." And to be honest with you, he's done nothing.
Yeah. Just too many penalties, and then you talk about football being a large part mental game. That's the problem, I think, too. He doesn't. There's too many mistakes. You know,
Yeah,
stuff that could be totally avoided. So yeah, man. I think the ship has sailed there for him. Unfortunately, I think they'll add some other young guys in here, and you know maybe he'll be in camp. Maybe they won't. I mean, it's kind of where he's at. You know.
yeah, and and April, and I get what you're saying, April, and I appreciate the super chat, April. You
Yeah.
know we love you.
We love it. Yeah.
But I want to address this here. So, you know, Kelvin Joseph is a second round pick. He will be given a chance just like Tristan Hill. Well, where's Tristan Hill at now? You see, that's the part that me and Joe are trying to get at. Like, dog, the league and football, it always works itself out. So you got a guy like Bland, Fresno State, hard worker. You listen to Deron Bland talk, he's gonna come in and he's just jumped everybody, and he doesn't talk about it. He just goes out and does it.
Yeah.
So when you see Deron Bland throwing his body around because he wants to tackle, that's why he's on the field.
Hmm.
You know what I
And
mean?
then the other part of it too is McCarthy. He has a history of giving a player a chance, but he will cut the cord if okay. Well, we gave you the chance. You didn't improve. You know, he gave Tristan Hill the chance. He's given all the chance in the world to Kelvin. He didn't do anything with it. So I
It's
won't be
time to move
surprised.
on.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and you know what? I'm a Mike McCarthy guy. Like I've seen rumors of Sean Payton and all. No, Mike's done a great job. He has. To lose his quarterback as long as he has, to lose his left tackle. Mike McCarthy should be coach of the year. I'm just gonna say it. He lost his starting left tackle. He lost his quarterback. He's lost Anthony Brown. He's lost Terrence Steele. And the Cowboys are gonna be 13-4. What are we talking about? And obviously they have to win this playoff game. Yes. But he also had to get rid of he had to get rid of Jason. Jason Garrett is that's exactly what Jason Garrett would have gave chance after chance after chance.
yeah,
Mike's not gonna do that.
yeah.
You know? And so, I don't, I'm with you, Joe. Like it was time to cut. It's time to, hey, Kelvin, your special teams got until further notice, dog. Like
And you can't even do that. So it's like they. That's why they got rid of James Washington. You know what I mean?
hey,
Couldn't
and
do
this is
anything on special teams.
this is
You
why I
know?
like Joe. This is why I have Joe on the channel because again, like we have to give it to you guys. We're draft first guys. We are. We're team build first, and we're gonna do it without bringing in over the hill free agents. We're gonna do it by draft because that's how the Cowboys are going to do it. They've told you they're going to Baltimore, Pittsburgh, New England way. That's how
Mm,
the Cowboys are going to move from here on out.
yeah,
Period.
yeah,
And so in that, hey, we're gonna go throw darts at the wall, whatever sticks. Deron Bland, you're gonna play.
yeah, yeah. Deron Bland, he's making a name for himself. No doubt about it. You know what I mean? He's your job is to take somebody else's job, and Deron has done that. You know,
Yeah. And I think Al Harris has done a great job with this secondary.
Al Harris
Um,
needs to get some credit, bro.
he
He's
needs to get some credit. And that's
yeah,
that's my problem with Kelvin Joseph. Is like, dog, like at a point it's you. I
yeah,
tell
yeah,
players, like, at a point,
right.
I tell the young kids that I coach, at a point, hey guys, listen, um, you know, all the lazy habits that you have, listening to your parents, you listening to your buddies. Ooh, well, guys, at a point, I hate to tell you, it's you. Just like in college football, all these kids want to jump into college, and they want to jump in the portal, and
Mhm.
they want to go here, there, and they go to these places, and they still stink. At
Yeah,
a point,
yeah.
it's you.
Hmm.
And so, at a point, Kelvin Joseph, the accident, the rap career, the this, to that, it's you. Um, and I don't know what to tell you. Maybe football is not important to you, but I tell you what, you'll be out the league before you know it. So anyway, Joe, I think that this defense, to kind of put a bow on this defense, um, I'm not down on the defense. Um, I do know that we need him to get a stop against Philly, and they couldn't. That does worry me a little bit, Joe.
Hmm.
Um, they have help coming, but like, does that help really put you over the hump? And that at some point throughout the playoffs, I think Dallas's defense is going to have to get a stop, Joe. I do.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You know these games, they're always a lot of them have been final possession games.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make that stop. You got to dig in deep.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the play there where it was like Micah was gassed. He was asking for a timeout. Like, hey man, we need a quick breather to make this play. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that made a difference. Micah out there making plays.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you got to do what you can do to dig in deep and make the play.
Yeah. And we'll see, Joe. I hope that these guys are ready. It's been funny, Joe, because unfortunately, as a fan and as a person who covers this team, I want to be all in on the playoffs, and I'm going to be all in, but I want to see how this team handles adversity. The good thing, Joe, and I thought this up in my mind.
Hmm.
The good thing is Dallas hit some adversity this year. So it's teams like Philly who have not. I think Philly's going to be the true one and done in the playoffs. I do. The problem that Philly is going to have is they haven't hit adversity. They haven't hit a lull. Um, you know, Injuries, haven't really had that real true injury bug
Hmm.
like Dallas has. And then again, you're gonna have the Hurts come back. Well, now the running game might not be what it once was because okay, by the way, you have a shoulder that you have to deal with. No, thank you. I'm not running him on them those zone reads and those keeps and all that type of stuff because now teams they're gonna hit you.
Yeah.
Defenders are gonna hit you. Um, Green Bay has holes. Obviously, they have Aaron Rodgers and he's playing at a high clip, but they have holes defensively. And I think the Dallas did a good job taking advantage of it. The first time they played them, they just couldn't get the game home, but I think they really can. Um, and then San Fran, closest thing to perfect that we've seen, and then obviously Tampa Bay. Um, yeah,
You got to beat the goat.
got to
You
beat
got
Tom.
you got to do it. That's got to happen this year. Like they
You
haven't beat
can't
him
run
yet.
from it.
They got to beat him. You can't run from the boogeyman. You got to beat him, bro. They got to beat him.
Yeah, it's no
You
easy
know,
road.
there's no
Yeah,
easy road, and that's how it should be. You know what I mean? If you're a champion, you're gonna beat the best. You know.
yeah.
So if we're a champion, if we're contenders and not pretenders, we'll beat these guys. You
That's
know?
true. That's a good point. Yeah, I think I've kind of taken that approach as well, Joe. Like, I really don't
Yeah.
like. I thought about it. It's like, oh, who do we want to play? I'd rather play it. Listen, it's the playoffs. Show me my opponent. Let's go. 300. You know,
Yeah.
like us versus the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to pick and choose and oh, brother, play this. Oh, but they got this guy out. No, you thinking like that, you're gonna lose.
That's a loser's mentality. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's beta thinking. It's simps.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, get out there and do what you got to do, man. Win the game. Beat these guys.
yeah,
That I mean, because that'll impress the shit out of me. You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
We'll know a lot more after Sunday, Joe. Can't wait. Favorite time of the year for sure.
Yeah.
Truthfully, this is Christmas. I got one more super chat, Joe, and then we'll get out of here. I have seen 4 or 5 Lombards. I want the younger generation to see 6. I agree. Give me Dak D4K in the line. And so I have been thinking like, man, this just feels like this is a Dak season to get it home. The injury, all he's done, he's been on the radar. People down talking him, and he just gets hot. And that's what I'm banking on, Joe. And I'm just banking on him playing the same football he's playing without the interceptions. Joe.
Mm.
I'm banking on that. And I'm hoping for that. So Joe, closing remarks. Do you have anything?
Just thanks for having me on, man, and shout out to everybody in the chat box for all the great commentary as usual. We can't do this without you guys. Yeah, man. I just want to say, let's see what this team does. You know what I mean? Let's hope for the best. We gotta get to the next rounds. We can't keep doing the one and done. So
Mm-hmm.
let's do it. Let's do something magical, and that's what's gonna have to happen. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Let's do it.
Joe, I want to say thank you for coming on. I want to say it's been great talking ball with you.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully maybe we can get together one more time next week. I know you'll probably be busy. I'll be busy.
We'll
But I
do
want
we'll do Senior Bowl. We'll do Senior
to
Bowl a couple weeks. We'll follow up
okay,
on that.
we'll jump on for Senior Bowl, Joe.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
you'll be covering the Cowboys playoff situation.
Oh yeah.
I will as well.
Yeah. We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back, Joe. The truth is, I want to see Dallas kick Washington's teeth in. I think that won't be hard because they're checked out. Half their team was on the injury report. I think they're ready to get on vacation, let their bodies rest the whole nine.
Yeah.
I think that Dallas is going on, and I think that show me my opponent.
Oh yeah.
Let's take our game up.
Let's
Period.
go. Let's go. Let's go, Dallas.
So it's your boy Foots, Joe. Thank you for Joe Rod. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys follow him, like, share, subscribe. You guys can hit me up. I'll put my information. Um, let me put my information for Twitter and IG. You guys shoot me a follow on both. Hit me up on IG. That's where I'm at. And then also hit Joe up as well. He's Cowboys blog. Your Cowboys blog on everything, right, Joe? Joe,
Yep.
are you Cowboys blog on everything?
Oh yeah. Yeah. At Cowboys Blog Net on Twitter.
Yep. So you guys hit Joe up, man. Please shoot him a follow. Let's get these followers up. Hit me up on IG as well, guys. Much love. We're gonna publish this right now. We're out of here, baby. Cat mode. This is serious.